What is going on, YouTube people? Neo here. Little Saturday afternoon live stream. Not sure how many people will pop onto this, just given the fact that it's the Saturday before 4th of July, America Day, Happy America Day Eve. And people are probably picnicking and getting drunk, boating, and making things explode. So, happy 4th of July, everybody. But I just felt like this was the easiest way to hop on and go over the quick pickups that I made, which was not much. It was just one card, really. Some other things and just some general thoughts after the CC2 trade night. I am not going to lie. I am a little tilted at the moment. Literally minutes before this live stream started, and I'm not going to put the guy on blast yet. But I bought on Thursday morning a really nice Ohtani refractor, a purple out of $2.99 on eBay. And the guy hadn't shipped it yet. And then he hit 2 home runs last night. And just now I get, your order has been canceled. The item is lost or damaged. So clearly, all Ohtani's cards went ballistic the other night, last night, after the 2 more home runs. He went up a couple $100 on his stuff. This idiot canceled the order on me because the value probably changed. So that literally just happened. I'm talking 30 seconds before I went live. So I will put this dude on blast so you can block him. But I will wait for a response before I do that. The internet. The internet. What really pisses me off is, so I'm going to vent on this. This is not where I expected this live stream to go, but this is where we're going now because this is what happened. We will circle back to On Topic here in a second. What really pisses me off is that it tied up the $800. It was an $800 card. It tied up $800 that I did not have, that I could have had to A, buy a different Ohtani, B, spend it last night at the trade night. Because that's money that was, I assumed, was spent. So, So essentially, I lost out on that card, and I lost out of the opportunity cost of having that $800 to play around with. So the more I talk about it, the more pissed I'm getting. Yeah, that guy's definitely getting negative feedback, and he will get put on blast. But I will give him a chance to appropriately respond before I do. So I will be fair and see what he has to say. But grumble. I have another. The problem is that, so I have, my card fund sits in the eBay or in the PayPal account. And I recently bought, it's supposed to ship Monday. Who the hell knows now? A very big card. We're talking 2K ish, which for me is pretty big. But I got a hell of a deal on it. And it should be in hopefully the end of next week. I don't know. I'll hold off on saying what that is, but it's a pretty spicy one. Man, I'm pissed about that Ohtani. It was a really good price it was a very good price to begin with, and then it was an even better price after last night. It was $750 for a BGS 9.5 Ohtani purple refractor out of $299, which I thought was a steal of a price. And yeah, so yeah, not happy about that one. All right, let me get on topic. I have vented. Chat, I am not completely ignoring you, but I'm not going to take a ton of questions for the first little bit of this. I want to get through the Card Collector 2 trade night thoughts, and then I'll dive into some chat questions. So, It's a super low pop card, so it will not be hard for me to see if it pops back up again. It's only like pop 10 or 20 in I mean, even if it pops back up, it's not like there's nothing I could do about it. So yeah, not happy about that one. Grumble. All right. Let me reset the matrix here. Last night was Card Collector 2 trade night. I made the trip down. It's about a 2-hour drive for me, give or take. Saw a lot of people that I like to chit chat with down there. Met a few watchers of the channel. So if you're watching this, hello. Thank you for coming up and saying hello. Made some deals. So two of what did I do? I sold a couple cards. I sold a Vlad PSA 10 Topps Heritage, nothing crazy, for like $80. I sold a MPJ based Prism for $100 plus SGA raw for like 10 or $15 or something like that, just base Prism. And then I traded for this. So this was the only real trade that I made. Baker field level PSA 10. I have wanted one of these for a really, really long time. And I was very surprised to see someone there have one. I mean, the store is in Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of people looking for Baker stuff. A lot of people have Baker stuff. So it's not like super surprising. But for those that don't know about 2018, really all of them, but specifically 2018, select field level base are extremely low population, like extremely low pop. This is like pop 19, I think. It's like 18, 19, or 20. It's like right around 20. It might even be a little under 20. These are ridiculously rare. In my opinion, these field level bases are one of the most undervalued cards that there is from 2018. They have much lower pop than the silvers. I mean, the silver is a nicer looking card, but if you're just talking base card wise, in my opinion, 2018 football, this is the best base card that you can get. And I know it's like technically a short print or a short print variation or whatever the heck you want to call it, because select's weird. But of non-colored parallels, in my opinion, that is the best card to have in regards to rarity and longevity if you're really into a player for long term. So I traded a Vlad pink PSA 10 refractor for this. I got this and like $20 in cash, I think. Last comp on this was like $380. Last comp on a Vlad PSA 10 refractor pink was around 400. A little over 400. I think there was an auction that had just ended for like 399 or something like the day before. So we did I gave him the Vlad pink refractor PSA 10, and he gave me this plus $20 in cash. So that was the only trade that I made. I came very close on acquiring, which was after I already had this, which played into the mindset of that the next trade that didn't happen. Someone had a Min Gem BGS 95 silver of this same card. And we came very close on a deal. We couldn't necessarily agree on trade on equal value. And he wasn't desperate for the stuff that I had, and I wasn't desperate for the card because I already got this. Last comp on a BGS 95 silver was 700. It was 2 months ago, and that was a true gem. A true gem. His was not a true gem. And so, in my opinion, 700 wasn't necessarily an exact comp. And I don't think, if anything, Baker has stayed flat over the last 2 months. Most football has slightly crept down the last 2 months. So I was putting it at like 650. He had a pile of cards, but we just couldn't put the puzzle together. It might show up on, I don't know if it'll be on Ryan's video. His camera guy was recording part of that transaction when we were going back and forth. But we ultimately did not end up coming to a deal. I believe he was a watcher of the channel. So, but it was a very good back and forth. We probably went back and forth for about 5 or 10 minutes trying to figure something out. But ultimately, we just couldn't get to equal sides of the equation. If I was really wanted the card, I could have got it. But I wasn't willing to go to the 700-ish comp that he wanted to put it at. And I understood why he wanted to put it there. But I wasn't willing to go there because I already had this, and I was actually more interested in getting one of these than I was a silver. So, um, what else? What else? What were people looking for? So I took the whoops. Tisk tisk. I took the LeBron Chrome with me. The only way I would move my PSA 8 LeBron is if I was trading it into a 9 or like a BGS 9.5 or something. So the only way I would move that card was to trade into something higher. So I brought it with me just in case someone had a PSA 9. I did not run into one. I'm not saying someone didn't have one there, but I did not see one. That being said, every single person that went through my case asked about that card. Everyone was asking about LeBron Topps Chromes of any grade that I ran across. I heard other people asking for them that were just chit chatting or whatever. So that was a card that was definitely on a lot of people's radars. And I know it's a card that, Gary Vee's been talking about it a lot lately. Sasha T's been talking about it a lot lately. So it is a card that is on people's radar. So I get why a lot of people were looking for that. A lot of youth on the floor. There was a mix of both. There was definitely a lot of young kids there, but there was definitely also a lot of 20, 30, 40-year-olds. There was some really little kids there, like 12, 13. I'm bad at judging kid age. But there was definitely some really young kids there that were hustling. There was one kid, I do not know how old he was, but he was young, probably like 12 or 13. He was talking to me and another guy, and we're like, "What do you got?" And he pulls out a Luka Optic PSA 10 purple disco out of 50 that comps for like 5K. And we just both looked at each other like, "What in the hell?" And this kid could not have been more than about 13. So, yeah. The kids have nicer stuff than we do in a lot of cases is the other thing that I always take away from going to these. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of 20-year-olds, a lot of 30 and 40-year-olds. It was the entire gambit, and it was busy the entire time. I went to I got there about 5:30. It started at 5. It was already packed when I walked in at 5:30. I left at 10:45. It ended at 11, and it was still fairly busy when I left at 10:45. There was probably at least still 2 dozen people in there. Um, it was not as busy as last time. So he did one about a month ago. That one was insanely busy. This one was really busy. But I factor most of that into the fact that it's the Friday of a 4th of July weekend, and the weather here in Ohio last night was about as perfect as you could get. It was 75 degrees. It was mostly sunny. There was a nice breeze. It was like literally one of the nicest days we've had all year. And his shop was still packed on the Friday of a 4th of July weekend. So, and I posted a picture, and a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, hashtag the hobby's dying, guys. Sure looks like it isn't. The other thing that I would say is I would encourage, if any of you have a local card store, try to talk them into doing something like that. I noticed one of the other card stores within a driving distance of me, Youngstown Sports Cards, also had a trade night last night. I would have liked to go check that out, but it was the same night as Card Collector 2's, and I wanted to go back down the Ryans. So I hope that they do one again. I would like to make the trip over to that one just to kind of see different inventory, meet different people. And there's rumors that a shop in Cleveland may end up doing one as well. But I think as these store owners see the success that Ryan's having with his, that they will try to get them going more. So the problem is space. A lot of LCSs do not have the space for it. Even in Ryan's new shop, it gets packed in there fast, and he has enough tables and chairs to seat like 40 or 50 people, I think he said. So, um, but it was an absolutely fantastic time. Um, what else were people looking for? Baker. People are always looking for Baker at his trade nights, which once again makes sense. Um, what else were people on the hunt for? I'm trying to think what people pulled out of my box. A lot of people were interested in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I had a couple of his stuff with me. A lot of people pulled that out. A lot of people asked me about this Trae Young because I took that with me. Not too many people asked about my Giannis. Last time I was down there, a lot of people were interested in the Giannis. This time, not so much. And like I said, people were always interested in Baker. The LeBron Topps Chrome was the number one card I got asked about by far, and it's not even close. What else? What else? I think those are pretty much the main things. But it was packed. It was a good time. And like I said, I would encourage, if you have an LCS, encourage them to do something like this because it's really fun. It is really, really fun. So I didn't have any Devin Booker. And so I can't say that people weren't looking for him, but the only Devin Booker I own is on Star Stock. So I don't have any in person Devin Booker, if that makes sense. So a lot of people asked about the Vladdy Pink as well. I traded that pretty late into the night. I got lots of questions on that. The Vladimir Guerrero Pink. What else? Those are probably the main things people were looking at. I did not take the Ja Purple. I did not take the Baker die cut. I purposely left that stuff at home. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great time. It was an absolutely great time. I'm going to filter back here and get to catch up on a couple of questions. I don't know that I have anyone in particular that I'm looking forward to. I want to meet Flipping Steve in person and Dustin from Personal Finance Dad and Flipping Steve. Best camera to use at the National. I am taking two cameras. I have a Sony ZV-1, which is what I'm recording on right now. That's my desk camera. It's very small and compact. It's specifically designed for vlog style footage. So I'll be taking that with my Crane M2 gimbal. And then I have slightly off screen here, which is the camera I use when my face is on the channel. I have a Canon Rebel T7i, which is a nicer mid-end digital DSLR that I like to use to shoot more. I'm bringing it more to shoot like if I'm in a conference room type setting because I have a wide angle lens I can put on it. It's easier to connect to they're both pretty easy to connect to the laptop. I have a Camlink 4K thing that makes that pretty simple. But I have a nicer mic that I can attach to that because I am not bringing the main mic that I have hooked up to my PC. So, but yeah, if anyone has questions or comments, go ahead and start throwing them out there. If I think of something else I want to talk about, I will just throw it in there. I know as much about baseball as I do cricket. People just don't like the paper stuff. That's the biggest problem with the base Donruss. I've heard that the HGA queue is pretty easy to get into these days. I don't know if that says more about them expanding their services or people not wanting to grade with them as much. I'm not going to lie. The vibe that I've gotten from HGA folks, like people that have used them, people that have tried to move their stuff, the shine seems to be coming off them very quickly, I guess I would say. So I absolutely adore Chubb. I am not spending money on a running back. I have one Chubb card that I got last year pretty cheap. Let me see if I can find it. It should be sitting right here somewhere. Yeah, this is the only Nick Chubb card that I have. Panini 1 RPA. but this was like 25, $30. I bought this in the summer of 2018, his rookie year. So it's got a soft corner, but most of these thick cards do. But gorgeous looking patch, gorgeous looking card, and super cheap. I love Chubb. He's one of my favorite Browns, but I'm not spending money on a running back. That's asking for trouble. I lost track. Big cards. I think LeBron Topps Chrome is going to be the one that a lot of people are looking for. Honestly, LeBron Topps Chrome is starting to get a lot of buzz. I don't know if it was the biggest Baker card, but the best Baker card I saw was one of the guys from One of One had the Panini Origins signed Baker, and it had an inscription of "Let's Go Dog Pound" or something like that on it. It was an amazing looking card. He had just got it and did not want to move it. It was numbered to 25. I would have given up a lot for that card, not even knowing what the value was on it. It was one of the coolest Baker cards I've seen. I don't know that it's the most high end. It's not. It's probably maybe $400, $500 card because it was raw. And it's not like Origins is not like the hottest set on earth, but from a Baker perspective, it was ridiculous, but he was not looking to move it. Oh. Oh, okay. This reminds me of something else. This question. What do you think of SGC grading? Is it right behind PSA and BGS? I noticed a lot of a lot of 2020 Prism and Select football in SGC slabs. A lot. Like Herbert's, Burrows, that sort of stuff, especially Select. Now, I think a lot of this could be because a lot of the people there are local to Ryan, and Ryan does SGC group subs. So it makes sense that you're going to see a lot of SGC cards because people are cracking wax there and submitting through Ryan to SGC. So I get that. I had some SGC stuff with me. I have a base Prism tray. I had this with me. I had a Luka Optic, and I had a Job Blue Velocity in SGC. For comparison's sake, I had an Optic PSA 10 Luka with me because I have multiples of them, so I took one with me. A lot of people, Luka was another one people were looking for. I should have mentioned that earlier. Luka was definitely, everyone pulled Luka stuff out of my case. Not surprising. Almost everyone that looked through my stuff asked about the Luka Optic PSA 10. Not a single person asked about this card. Not one. Almost every single person pulled this out. Not every, but a lot. Sorry, I banged the camera there. Almost every single person or a lot of people asked about this. I did not get a single question about any of these three. And I had a lot of people ask about Trae Young stuff. I had people pull raw Trae Young out of my case and not this. And I had people pull that out, which is a little different tier because that's numbered in super low pop. And I did not have a single person ask about this. And a lot of people were looking for Trae Young stuff. That's another one people were looking for. Sorry, as I'm talking through this, I'm remembering more things. So more cards are getting graded by SGC, but I don't know that people are grading with SGC because they're the only ones you could basically grade with right now. I don't know that the market wants them still. I'm still seeing liquidity issues with them. And from what I saw last night, nothing changes my mind on that. So I don't know because the cycles are all screwed up, in my opinion. I don't think so, Low Roller Scratcher. Lillard Prism is an interesting play if you think he's going to get traded. If you don't think he's going to get traded, then it's probably not the best. I doubt it. I don't think that's enough. I don't think being selected to the U.S. select team is enough to spike prices. Hey, Sam, what's going on? I don't touch rock cards anymore. That's my strategy with rock cards. I have not bought a rock card in a year and a half. Do you think HGA will be more exclusive submission, for example, with custom label Marvel cards and Pokemon cards? I think HGA is going to be used for PC, and people expecting to get good value out of HGA cards should probably reset their mindset. You'll be able to get okay value out of them. Like a HGA 9.5 is probably going to be equivalent to probably like a maybe under a BGS 9.5, somewhere in there, I think, when it all shakes out. I don't think people really want serious cards in HGA slabs, if that makes sense. Football, the only thing that really does well is quarterbacks. That's pretty much it. Position players have their little moments in the sun and quickly fade away. I don't know that it does. Global. I don't know why. Just because people are grading with them doesn't mean that people want the product after it gets graded by them. Like, people are sending to SGC because it's the only place they can send it to. But that doesn't, just because there's more cards in SGC slabs doesn't mean that the end user wants SGC slabs, if that makes sense. Like, I think a lot of people would rather buy like a Herbert Silver raw, or I think a lot of people are still buying the SGC 10s to eventually crack and send in for PSA 10s. I know PSA has caught a lot of heat this week. They're not, the most popular kid in the room right now. But all I can tell you is what I am seeing, and it's that, at least from last night's experience, that people weren't really looking at SGC slabs. At least with me. Maybe someone else that was there had a completely different experience. I'm just going what I saw firsthand. I am not a hockey guy. Sorry. Do we see a PSA premium now with slabs and 10s with price increases from the recent lack of 10? No, I don't think so. Maybe for the like the stuff that, for product that released after PSA closed down, you might see a little bit increase, but I would be very careful with that because that's not, like, the best example I could say of that is like LaMelo Ball Prism base PSA 10 is going to look like it's low pop when it's really not. And eventually that number will correct because people will just sit on those cards and wait to send them in. So, I'm going to say like $30, Sam. Like, and that's probably going to take 6 months to a year before we get to that point. Would be my guess. Basically the same question Sam just asked. Sorry. Do you think PSA grading will be $50 per at some point in time? Yes, but not anytime soon. I do not agree with this take at all. I do not think SGC is going to be up there with BGS and PSA. I think they'll be third tier behind those two. They might equal BGS. They're not going to pass PSA. There's no way they're going to pass PSA. I don't care how many people are pissed off at PSA. It's going to take an iceberg movement to shift the price gap between the two. I've talked about it a lot lately in some group chats and stuff. To me, the best deal on the market right now is a BGS 9.5, like a True Gem or True Gem Plus. Because that order got canceled. 2 of the last 3 cards that I bought, which one I posted on Instagram, the other apparently I'm not actually getting, were BGS 9.5s. There's extreme value in BGS 9.5s, I think. So I've been really starting to look at those as go-to. I would probably go with the Bowman Chrome first versus his base Chrome. It's a more rare card, and people that want higher end Acuna are going to go for Bat Down. Acuna is a weird one because there's like a billion different variations of his rookie. No one was asking about him, but I didn't have any of him. You know what I mean? So, yes, Jack. That's the man that I almost made the trade with the Baker Silver 9.5. I talked about. I don't know if you were here at the beginning, Jack, but I told that story earlier. I didn't realize one went for $70. Was that a Prism? It's not surprising if that's the case. Sorry, I'm just reading comments really quickly. I do not use ComC. I use StarStock over ComC. My alternative buying and selling platforms other than eBay are ComC are StarStock and MySlabs. I feel like the price changes with PSA are going to drive demand and price. Seems logical with less submissions. Is it also I think most of this like PSA changing prices stuff trickling down to slab prices is mostly overblown. The player still has to perform, and the card still has to be a liquid card, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think they ever do, Parker. I think that's the problem. I could be wrong on that, but people have been saying SGC is going to catch PSA's value for the last year, and it hasn't really happened yet. I need to do a deep dive on their pricing comps because I don't know. Like some people have said that they have closed the gap. I don't know that it's so much that they've closed the gap versus just PSA prices have gone down, if that makes sense. Like PSA 10s were overinflated. They're taking the bigger hit in the market decline, whereas SGC was super cheap to begin with. So there's just less markup there for it to come off the top. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say there. I've been buying a lot of baseball lately. I don't know what's next because I'm tilted from this Otani play still. I'm not going to lie. There's been a lot of interest in the Wolverine Arc Weld. I would sell the new optic. I would sell the tray for sure or trade it for something. But if I don't move it, I'm perfectly fine holding it. It's one of those ones that I'm fine with whatever happens with it. I would 100% sell it if someone wants it. Let me know. I would 100% hold on to it. I was actively looking to trade it last night for something that I like more. So I got that because it was a good deal and I like the card, but I'm not married to it. Because the way they went out of the playoffs. I avoid all breaking. And they actually started the other day. I watched their first break. They did breaks the other night with NT. All of the above. My goal right now, one of the things I'm actively looking to do is try to get at least one or two key cards of each of the four. I'm going to include Otani in that too. Man, am I pissed about that purple. When you say Marvel cards, can you be a little more specific? If you don't have any and you believe in the player, it's probably a good time to buy the dip. It's basically stayed flat, Sam. Which is interesting. So I'd have to run the charts, but I'm pretty sure I know BGS 9.5 LeBron Chromes have shot way up. PSA 10s, I believe, have shot way up. I don't think it's trickled down to the nines and the eights yet. I feel like they haven't moved as much as the tens and 9.5s have. Give me a second. I can pull up market movers while I'm talking. Switch screen around. So if you were looking for LeBron, there may be a buying opportunity on eights and nines. And I have a feeling, I just have a sneaky feeling a lot of people are going to be looking for that card at the National. Yeah. Holy smokes. I know Brad, the comeback card investor, talked about this the other day. Give me 1 second. Let me share a screen. All right. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. This is why you need data tools, folks. Hide your comment real quick there, Sam. Okay, so here's LeBron PSA 10 over the last 30 days. Right here, 625, I believe, is when Gary Vee made the video about him or talked about him on a video. It went from 12K to 18K. So let me run this chart from 625. 625. Okie dokie. Perfect example. PSA 10 over the last, so what would that be? 8 days? 9 days? Up 40%. PSA 9 up 4%. PSA 8 hasn't moved. BGS 9.5 up 80%. If this doesn't screen buying opportunity on an 8 and a 9, I don't know what else you need to know. Just being honest. If you think this is real, and when I say real, like sustainable, but that's the last 8 to 9 days, almost 10 days. Seeing movement on the top two, it has not trickled down to the 9s and the 8s yet. That's pretty normal. Usually the 10s and the 9.5s take off first, and then the lower grades get pulled along with it. Breaking is pure gambling, which is fine as long as you know what you're going into. That's good. I don't think so. At $300 a box, I don't know that I want to rip one. We'll see. I would probably go with a PSA or probably a Prism Silver over a Select Silver when it comes to silvers. It's still too expensive to send Marvel Series 1 the PSA. I would like an 08 LeBron Topps Chrome for sure. Uh-oh. Sam's getting ready to make a play. Get out of the way. That's a really nice card. The Bird Magic one is really nice. Sorry, I was just checking my phone. I saw it buzz and I thought maybe it was an eBay message from my Otani seller that ghosted me. Sorry, I'm gonna be mad about that one for a while. I'm gonna need a therapy session from that. Not happy. So yeah, anyway, back to LeBron. That definitely looks like there is a potential buying opportunity there on that one. What else is going on? There was just this is one of the most wild weeks of news ever when it comes to hobby stuff. My smart card PC's Baker, but I don't have like a ton of his stuff. I try not to get too attached to anything. But Baker would definitely be my PC for sure. And probably LeBron. I would not move my LeBron Chrome unless it was for another LeBron Chrome. Same with my Chalk Toss. You are not wrong, sir. You are not wrong. Anyone else have any questions, thoughts, comments about pretty much anything? Otherwise, we will wrap up here. I see that I know that it's a holiday weekend, so um, not quite. A lot of people were looking for football stuff last night at the trade night. I've been most of the money that I've spent recently has been on baseball. I've been buying a lot of baseball. Personally, I would sell. I'm not a big Burrow guy. Oops. Potentially. KD PSA nines are pretty cheap right now. They're like sub $900. I think two sold the other day. One for like eight something, and one for like 890. That's intriguing. Or if you're in the 10 price range. It is going to be Thursday. I meant to post this in our group chat. It is going to be Thursday. He just still does not know. I think he knows details. He's just not ready to release details yet. But it is 100% going to be Thursday night. So, are you coming in early to be able to actually be there? Or are you going to miss it and be sitting at home sad while we're all at trade night at the National? Though every night's a trade night at the National. eBay, My Slabs, or there's none on Star Stock. eBay or My Slabs, or Facebook groups. I just think Burrow and Herbert are ridiculously overpriced, given their current pricing. Football is way too finicky, man. I do not like to hold football in this season unless it's Mahomes. If it's older select, I still prefer older select. If it's newer, I would take Prism. And when I say that, I'm specifically talking 2020 and onward, like this year's Prism, which basketball has not come out yet. I hate what they did to this year's Prism with football. He's up there. I'm hesitant to put him like he only has one Super Bowl so far, so a lot of his prices are baked in on him winning multiple Super Bowls. I think Mahomes Optic Hollow is probably the best of his non super expensive stuff. Because if you get into Prism, you're instantly talking like 8K, I think, is what his PSA 10 Prism's going for. I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, you could also look at a PSA 9 of his Prism if you wanted to. I don't know what PSA 9 goes for compared to a 10 of the Optic Hollow. I mean, you could pretty much say, other than Otani, most markets are down or slightly flat right now, and LeBron Chrome. But there's enough people talking about I knew this was going to happen at some point in time. The LeBron Chrome can only go so cheap. Maybe it pulls back again. I don't know, but it's at a price point now that a lot of people can get into it. Especially an 8. Like an 8 for 2K is an affordable card for a lot of people that have been in cards for the last year because you could probably flip something or have flipped enough stuff to be able to get into that card. No, I completely checked out a Top Shot 3 months ago. Um, I don't know the prices off the top of my head. If you're gonna go for a Zion, Optic Hollow is the way to go. Uh, SGC is fine for mid end stuff. I'm not selling them anything high end. Like if I pulled a Lamelo courtside silver or something, I am not sending that to SGC. It's a combination of liquidity and price. Because to get I mean, if you just want to sell them for rock bottom, you could move them liquid wise. If you throw them up on an eBay auction, you're going to get killed. So everyone that sells SGC says put it out there at best offer, buy it now. And you could do that, but you're not moving the card quickly. That's for sure. Because the problem is no one searches for it. It really comes down to as simple as that. If like that's the entire problem. If you go on eBay and you want a Trae Young card, you're gonna type in Trae Young, whatever you're looking for, PSA 10. Search. How many people are sitting down at eBay and going Trae Young, SGC, whatever? Clearly not that many. Everyone wants to use SGC because they're the only player in town that's currently open, like from people with raw cards. But the end user, the people actually buying cards, are not looking for SGC slabs. Or if they are, they're looking for them to crack and send the PSA once things get back to normal. They're using it as like a raw card review. That being said, if you're in the I want to rip packs or buy raw to grade, you can grind out a profit with SGC. You absolutely could make money with them. That is not what I'm not saying you cannot make money with SGC because you absolutely can. But don't expect them to sell for PSA 10 prices. Hey Dakota, what's going on? Dakota, you missed my rant. You missed my rant, Dakota. Trae Young GMA 10. Get out of here, Elliot. Yeah, you can absolutely make money with SGC, but I don't know that the end user base is still there for it. I think the National could help. You remember the Otani purple that I bought? The BGS 95 that I messaged you about? The seller canceled on me. It got lost. Air quotes, lost. He hit 2 home runs last night, and one of the balls must have hit the slab and cracked it, so he can't send it to me because his prices jumped 30% because the guy never shipped it. So I am tilted. If you're not, you should be subscribed to both Sports Card Anonymous and Women of the Hobby. I don't know if Sam's still hanging around or if she ran away, but you should be subscribed to both those. Yes, it does. I'm waiting for him to respond before I put the dude on absolute blast. I messaged him, so I'm giving him a fair shot. I'm giving him a fair shot before I throw him on blast. You and me both. I made my money. I made my 4K off Top Shot, got it out, and I think people. I know that there was some packs that dudded, but I think people are still making cash on there, but not to the same degree. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for him to respond if he does. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give the dude a fair shake, and then I messaged him right before I went live, and I've not heard back from him yet. So part of me wants to be like, I will blast you on YouTube, and then another part of me does not want to do that because that just sounds like me being an arrogant prick. Which I'm totally gonna blast him on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be like that guy that like hangs it over his head. So yeah, I am tilting. Uh, no, I do not. I have a real job, if you will. YouTube and cards are just a wonderful little distraction. This is a very interesting question. I have no idea if the. I don't think the Bucks can beat the Suns without him. Just to be quite honest. I really don't. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. I work in a uh what's the best way to say this? Healthcare adjacent industry. I don't know about 4. Oops, battery dead on that camera. I don't know about 4, but I do think they lose. Yeah, Sam's in Atlanta. Sorry, just switching out the camera battery. I don't remember what I was going to say. People were definitely looking for MPJ stuff last night. Cranky card guy. This is I am in pharmaceuticals, but not. I am in legal pharmaceuticals, not illegal pharmaceuticals. I like Devin Booker. I think his stuff's a little cheap right now. Potentially, I don't. It's hard to say because here's the thing: whoever wins the NBA Finals, their prices are probably going to go down. Other than maybe Chris Paul. He's Devin Booker's brother. It's like Marcus and Markieff Morris. Of the 3 young guys, Hurts is my favorite because he's the cheapest. Not quite. Uh oh, you. What a dirty question. I like them both. KPJ is the poster child of the channel, so I guess I'll say KPJ. MPJ has more card upside because he's on a winning team. I have 0 Chris Paul cards. I don't think so. I think like this sort of nonsense, like 75th anniversary stuff, documentary stuff, that's the stuff that I don't think moves the market like it used to. Sam and Dakota, if you guys want to hop on the live, you can. I wasn't planning on going super long, but if you guys want to come hang out, I'll DM me and I'll send you the invite link. But yeah, I have no Chris Paul cards. I briefly thought about picking up his Topps Chrome, but kind of missed the window, is what it is. I did pick, so I like to do this for the live streams. Let me fix my camera. Whoops. There we go. I posted this on IG, so it's not like a super big spoiler. Um, so I sold the Vlad Purple refractor and picked up this bad boy, which is super sexy. Not gonna lie, love the sapphires. True Gem Plus, absolutely love this card. And I picked up another one that I will not discuss yet until it is in my hand because I feel burnt now. Any underscore Ohio sports cards is my IG. It's in the description of most of my videos. Give me 1 second. We are going to bring. One second, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, stream. Give me 1 second here. Just getting reorganized. NBA Finals predictions, Suns. I'm trying to get my. Bet you this is going to be stupid. Sorry, chap, not ignoring you. This is what happens when you try to do things live at the last minute. My other camera does not want to work at the moment, and it's causing me grief. We're going to have some special guests, so this will be worth your wait once I get things resituated. This is why I need a real studio right here. All right. That.
Woo!
Do that. There we go.
Nice.
So we have special guests all of a sudden. Got Dakota from Sports Card Anonymous and
What's
Sam
happening,
from
people?
Women of the Hobby. What's up, guys and girls?
How are you?
What's up, Sam? Dakota,
Good.
how's the move going?
We're almost done. We are moved in, and I'm still dying. But woo, buddy, this move was hard on the body, but it's all right. We're almost through it, so all's well that ends well.
Sam, what have you been up to? What's the hot Olympic plays?
Honestly, I've just been doing the Simone. So I got my SGC order back. So I've been moving some of those. And they've actually been moving. I think because it's the only thing they're really graded in is SGC. So there's like not too much PSA out there.
Did you say Simone?
Yeah, Simone. Just her.
Yeah.
Like, I still have some of those.
We should we should chat. I might like a Simone. You know, I'm from Houston. I love her because she's from Houston. So.
Oh yeah. So that's what I've been doing. But yeah, that's pretty.
So I guess my question there is why are you moving them now and not waiting for the actual Olympics?
Yeah, so I thought about it, but I don't know. I'm just kind of worried. I feel like I've been listening to too much of Neo talking about, sell before the actual, event, sell the news, not the whatever that saying is. I think that's kind of why I'm selling now, and I'm into it for nothing. So I'm just kind of like, what I get now is pretty much pure profit. So it's just like, whatever, I'll just like move in now. I do have a few that I'm saving, but I mean, I have some that I'm saving actually to probably send to PSA. but not at $200. So
Yeah, I think that's smart though. It's because since you're into it for nothing, lock in some profits now, and then hold a couple in case it keeps going up. That's the beauty of having the multiples. And you get a gold label, right?
Yeah, so I got the SGC Pristine, which I was not expecting.
Oh, snap.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I don't really know. I was trying to look at like how I'm actually I'm open to moving that one just because it's a base, and I mean I still have some more base ones as well, so it's nothing like too special to me, but I'm like wondering what the price point of a SGC Pristine is to like a PSA.
They usually sell for quite a bit more than PSA 10s.
That's what I was thinking. I thought there would be some type of premium.
There definitely is.
Oh, for sure.
I had, you don't see many because they're pretty hard to hit. Look at like Zion stuff, because I know some Zion SGC gold prisms have sold, like base.
Okay.
They're probably from a while ago, but it would at least give you like here's what a prism PSA 10 sold for, and here's what a gold sold for. So that's for weird stuff like that that has no comps. I usually go to Zion Prism base because usually that card's been graded in nearly everything.
That's true.
So it'll at least give you a multiplier idea. But that might be one you almost might be better off. I hesitate to say auction that one, but I don't know. That's those SGC golds. I don't know, Dakota, you're a semi SGC guy. Do you have any thoughts on what to do with a gold?
I love SGC, but SGC golds are few and far between. I mean, those are hard to find. I mean, it should demand a huge premium. I mean, a huge premium. So yeah, I would go with what Neo said. Look at what other SGC 10s do relative to their PSA 10 or SGC 10 brethren, and price off of that.
Or just do like a 130 point search for SGC gold and see like what card comes up, or whatever the most recent one is that sold of whatever card, and then compare it from there.
Yeah, that's what I did initially, and I saw like some tray that had sold recently within the SGC. But yeah, what you were saying earlier about listing SGC at best offer, that's pretty much what I did for my previous sales. I'm not bold enough to do an auction.
Auction's the way to go. Be bold. That's what you want to do. People
see, I think you're safe with something like that at best offer. Buy it now, because like you said, there's not, that card's just not out there. So it's not like a Zion card where if someone wants one, there's a billion different options to go get it in a slab. Whereas something like that, like what's the PSA pop report on that? Do you know?
No, I have no, like I only looked at SGC, and I think SGC, the total pop is like definitely under 100. And then obviously the pristine one is pop 1. So it's added bonus as well.
Yeah.
People are asking what Simone you're actually talking about.
Oh, okay.
Like
so
which specific card?
Yeah, I have both. I just saw someone said the SI for kids. So I have the SI for kids, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 2016 tops. They make them for, I think actually the Olympic set for this year is coming out pretty soon too, but it's 2016 tops Olympics and Paralympics, like hopefuls, I think is the actual name of the set. But that's what I'm referring to. But
I think the gold would be the one that I would hold for right before the Olympics. Like, take your money and run, like kind of sell them like over time leading up. And then I think the gold would be the one that I would sell at like the peak. I mean, it's hard to time the peak, but that would be the one that I would wait on if I was going to wait for one, especially since you're making your money. Like you're already probably 10x already just off the couple that you've sold.
Yeah. pretty good margin there.
So are you running to buy LeBron Topps chromes with that? Based
I don't
off
know. I thought about it. I mean, with it only still being the 8, still being only at 2K or around 2K-ish, whatever.
Only. Daggone. We got money in these pockets. Oh, my goodness.
We're small time. I don't know if you, so I was at I talked about the trade night earlier. I don't know if you heard this, Dakota, or not, but me and another guy were talking to some, I'm terrible at judging kids' ages, but he was probably 13 or 14 years old. And he just whips out a Luka PSA 10 purple optic disco out of 50, which comps for like 5K. And we're just like, okay. Me and the guy next to him just like, we're like, all right. I'm just gonna pack up my case and see. You get humped. Like, I don't know if you guys have gone to like a trade night or something like that, but like there was a lot of young kids there, and like you get put in your place fast when you flip through some of their boxes, and they just have like straight nicer stuff than you do, and you're like 40 and have a real job, and they're like 14 and have like multiple thousands of dollars of cards. That's why I always get like people are like, "Oh, you got to save the wax for the kids." I'm like, the kids have nicer stuff than we do. You still don't realize it.
Screw the kids. I need wax. They're doing well. Oh man, they do well. I mean, I see them. I can't say we don't have a card. You know, let me tell you now. I just switched in my company. I'm switching jobs back to an old team I used to be on when I used to go to Columbus all the time. I'm hoping to go to Columbus again. We might have to hang out if I do.
I'll make the trip down if you're in town.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I ever do. But yeah, I do. I mean, we don't really have trade nights here. It's not a thing, but man, it just seems so great. I love the way a Card Collector 2 set up his shop. So it's like kind of a hangout and cards, you know. But I feel like so many people, at least in Texas, they're holdover shops from the 90s, and it's just strictly cards, and it's a mess, and it's miserable to go in. So yeah, I don't have that same experience, unfortunately.
Do you have anything about you, Sam, that can pull off something like that, or?
I mean, not really. I wouldn't say the shops are like, you know, hangout shops really. Like it's kind of like you go in, you might talk to the guys for a little bit and then you leave. I don't think there's enough room really to set up something like that.
Yeah.
Space is always the problem.
Yeah.
I love the way CC2 set up his shop. I mean, it's perfect.
It's really nice.
If I was to set up a shop, I would want a cigar lounge, beer area, plus cards and TV. It's perfect. I love the way he did it.
But see, so I talked about this earlier too. So there's another shop in Youngstown, Ohio, which is about an hour from me. They had a trade night last night. It was their first one. There's another shop, One of One, up in Cleveland. They're talking about doing one now. So I'm wondering if, like, they're a semi-local. I mean, they're all a couple hours from Ryan, but I'm wondering if other shop owners are seeing the success that Ryan's having and are like, could we pull off something like this? And I don't know, like from a business owner standpoint, it's worth it for him for probably the marketing alone. I don't know how much money is spent in the shop on a trade night, because he does pull a lot of product down and put it behind the counters, like all the supplies and stuff, to make more room for tables. And like his dollar boxes are all like, you can't get into any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But just having that number, I mean, there was plenty of people that were just buying boxes and ripping while they were sitting there. Like,
that's awesome.
And doing like pack battles and stuff.
For him,
like that.
I'm sure it's awesome.
But I have to imagine other shops are seeing that and are like, oh, wait, he's getting 50 people in his door for 6 hours straight, like on the Friday before 4th of July.
How much money can you make on concessions? You know, you get somebody out there. Hell, in Texas, food trucks are big. Get a food truck outside, you know, have them.
See, and he does free pop and pizza. He has coolers in the front of free water and cans of pop, and he orders pizza in for everybody and stuff. So, yeah, he does it right. I mean, they're really fun. It's a 2-hour drive for me and a hotel stay usually, and I still go through that hoops of going down there for it.
Yeah, I mean, his shop seems awesome. So, I mean, I believe in. I would like to see that be a thing more often. So, like, man, I started playing Magic about 5 years ago. Magic the Gathering. I know we're off on a tangent here, but you talk about comics, so it's fair. And
hey, I play Magic. I still play MTG Arena every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I love Arena. Arena's a blast. But I started playing about 5 years ago, and like, you know, Friday night Magic. That's, you know, you go to the Magic store, and I would just love if sports cards had a Saturday night sports cards, and you just go do a trade night, and that's like just local shops do that. That would be awesome. It would be great if that would happen. It's obviously not happening, and I don't think it's going to, but it would be cool if we just said, hey, locally, we're going to meet up and talk more. I think that would be great for the hobby.
I mean, I think that's something you can absolutely put on, especially like, you know, like us as content creators or something that have the reach to be able to say like, hey, I'm going to put it would take time and effort and work, obviously, of like, hey, we're all going to meet at some place. The trick is finding the space for it and secure space. You know what I mean? You don't want to just say like, hey, everyone's meeting with their $10,000 boxes of cards at the park on social media, and then next thing you know, you're on CNN or whatever.
Ooh, buddy. Yeah.
Getting jacked. So, you know, there's those situations, but you know, finding a shop to sponsor something, or like, hey, do you want to rent out a VFW for the night, or
Dude, that would be awesome.
or if it's nice out, you could do it outside, but then you're at the mercy of the weather.
Well, I had somebody in one of my comments, I think maybe in a live show, I don't remember now, but they said like they put on basically like weekend shows out of their garage. And I'm like, that's freaking awesome. And I was like, people show up, and they said, oh yeah, a lot of people show up. I'm like, right on. Good for you. It's nice.
That would be a little scary towards me from like a safety aspect. Not like someone could like knock off a shop if they wanted to, but just being at like some random house, you know what I mean? As the homeowner, I don't know that I would want that sort of pressure.
Well, stop being so suspicious.
You're in Texas. You guys all just open carry down there, so it's fine.
That's it. We all have guns. We shoot in the every 30 minutes. We all shoot in the sky. That's part of our rotation. That's what you do during the day.
Sam, you're Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's like? Do you guys have a lot of shops in Atlanta? Like, I know Atlanta's like a huge area, and going one side of town to the other is like an all-day event down there with traffic. But is there like a lot of stores in that general neck of the woods?
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta, I think, is really big on their suburbs too. So I mainly like venture out. I don't really like to go downtown. Atlanta to me is kind of like sketchy, but sometimes. And
have you been to what's the guy's name? He goes on Sports Cars and Investors all the time. What's it? Jeremy? Is that his name? What's his name? Have you been to that guy's shop?
Yeah. That is Got Baseball Cards. And again, that's like, it's honestly I live like, 15 minutes from downtown, and that's probably a good 40 minutes from me. So it's kind of out there a little bit. But then the shop that I really go to is Champion Sports Cards, and they're in like Marietta, which is like where the Braves play now, and like that kind of area. But then there is a shop downtown that I've gone to. I think it's literally called like the Card Shop. And it was kind of weird, Atlanta, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like hip hop, like trendy type of thing. So the card store was actually in a shoe store, like a sneaker, like store, which was very interesting. But I think they made a standalone like card store as well. So, but I mainly just stick to the one. And then I think there's a few out in like Roswell, Alpharetta, but there's really like, there's a few, I guess, like within the overall suburbs, there's probably more, but.
Yeah, I would, if you have a shop that you think has the capacity, encourage them to do a trade night or something. But you'll have, you got the Prism show, the Prism God show coming up, so
yeah,
you should have access to a ton of stuff with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be out in Marietta, so it's right across from where the Braves play at Truist Park. So I'm pretty excited for that because that's really not far from me either. I'm probably like 15 minutes from that too. So it's super nice. I'll probably go like most days, or at least Saturday and maybe Sunday, depends. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I hope it's pretty big. So
I really wanted to go to that show if it wasn't 2 weeks before the National.
Right.
I would have 100% flown down for that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think the Atlanta and the Dallas show, it's the same weekend. I think they're going to be really small. One, you've got two shows one weekend, both big shows, but you've got the National 2 weeks later. I think both shows are going to be pretty small, which actually is someone going to Dallas makes me excited. I think I might be able to get some steals.
Or are you going to Dallas in 2 weeks, Dakota?
Yeah, it's an easy drive up for me. Me and my buddy, we're going up there. We'll probably do Friday, Saturday for the Dallas. So, yeah.
So I'm going to have Sam on. We already talked post-Atlanta show, so maybe you guys can either come on together or separately again to
I think
compare and contrast Dallas and Atlanta. I wanted to go to the Atlanta show. Was perfect because it's an easy flight. You can get cheap flights to Atlanta from just about anywhere. I wanted to go to the Braves Stadium, and it's across the street, and they're home. So it was kind of like, I could cross all these things off the list all in one shot. But then just being 2 weeks before the National, it was like, do I really want to do 2 trips? Is that just more money that I could throw at the National? You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense.
Atlanta's supposed to be big on comics, though, right?
Supposedly, in theory, they're advertising that comics and sneakers. I think both.
Is it National like that, or is it just cards? I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure the National has some comic, like in general, if it's collectible, it's at the National to some degree.
I was just gonna say too, like more for the Atlanta, like other collectibles. There were a few like leading up to like a few months ago. I kept seeing ads. I was probably getting targeted ads, but it was like a new like sneaker show or like other collectible show. Sorry, the clock is like going off if you hear it. But there's like another more collectible shows within Atlanta. A lot of it like heavy sneaker focus or like, you know, like vintage clothing now that's like making a trendy way back or whatever. Um, but yeah, but no, one thing I thought about when you all were talking about the Ryan shop was, isn't Burbank doing like a renovation type thing on their shop where they're gonna have like a huge thing too?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be like the Disneyland of cards, essentially, I think is what he's referred to it as once that opens up. I
Yeah.
don't know where they're at when they're
Well, they're in Cali, and so Burbank for any
I mean, I
of
know
my
where they're at. I meant like where they're at in their
in the process.
move to moving into the new
Yeah.
store.
So like that, they have a huge library of cards. Burbank does. I mean, I love buying from Burbank because I could get any random 1995 base card that I want. And so what they want to do is basically have this warehouse where people can just come in and almost like library cards, just filter through a ton of cards and find the cards that they want, which is an awesome idea. I don't know how that's going to work from a business standpoint. I have some reservations about it, but I hope it works for them. You know, I'm happy that they're doing something really out there and pushing the boundaries of what a card shop looks like and making it bigger than what we're used to, just a couple showcases and then some boxes. You know, I like that. So
yeah, you could tell the more modern shops have, like Ryan just opened his, you could tell it's designed for having people come hang out.
yeah.
One of one in Cleveland is newer as well. They're southwest of Cleveland, in Strongsville, Ohio, I think, or right near Strongsville. I've only been in there once, but they're a newer shop as well, I believe, and they have a ton of space. They have a lot of tables in there. They have dollar boxes on it, but you could see where they could just easily clear those out of the way, and all of a sudden you have like a bunch of table space for people to sit down and hang out in if they want to.
I love the way that CC2 set up his card shop. I'm like, it really was perfect. You know, like it's a hangout area, but also we have a lot of cards for sale. Like to me, that's perfect. And then, I mean, in my opinion, you get your alcohol license and you sell some beer in there too. I mean, the problem is you get beer on the cards, who knows? But like, I feel like that's money, but I don't know.
That leads to bad trade night decisions.
Hey, you know, if you own the shop, stay sober. You'll be all right.
As someone did mention, that's the other thing that I think Ryan gets a lot of benefit out of trade night wise, is it's a lot of people bringing him inventory to look at, to buy. Because pretty much like when you're there at trade night, like Ryan's essentially at the counter talking to somebody pretty much for 6 straight hours. Like someone leaves with a case, the next person walks up with a case.
Well, and they rightfully want to give him deals because he's putting on this big show where a lot of people get together and have some fun time. So they're like, look, I'm having a good time doing this. Let me give you 20% on this deal. So you make a little bit of money, but I'm just happy that I get to be here. You know, to me, that is a good LCS. And that's an LCS I want to give money to, that is doing something that promotes the hobby and makes my experience in the hobby better. And so I think that should be easy money for him doing that. And then of course, from the content angle as well. But yeah,
he's nailing all ends. Is this a true statement? Dakota and Sam both share a bond over Sam Darnold cards.
Is that true?
I actually don't own any Darnold cards yet. I'm not on the Darnold train. We'll see how he performs.
Well, I love Sam Darnold. Man, I was hoping that was true because I feel like I'm alone. I love Sam Darnold, but the gents in the chat know that. I love me some Sam Darnold.
The only thing I share with Sam is the same name. No. But I don't know. Like I remember watching him, I think it was in college. I don't know if it was their bowl game, but they were going against someone and he literally was awful. Like I think he threw like terrible. And I was like, oh gosh. And then he still got drafted super high, so obviously it didn't seem to matter. But
she's talking so much shit, chat. Come on, don't let her do me like this. This is awful.
Well, he's your QB now, Sam, right? You're a big Panthers fan.
Yeah, he's the QB, and apparently, I just remember like on draft night, Mel Kiper, I don't know, he was like feeling some type of way about the Jets giving away Sam Darnold. So at least Mel Kiper is somewhat high on him. Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you need Darnold inventory, Dakota's got it.
I got it. I've always liked Sam Darnold. Mel Kiper likes Sam Darnold. He's a big fan of Sammy.
Mm-hmm. I remember him being feisty that night when they traded him.
He was acting real weird, and I was like, obviously, I think he just felt like they didn't give him enough time, or like they gave up on him too quickly, or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was his take there.
The Jets were horrible when he was there. I mean, literally, while Sam Darnold was with the Jets, you could argue they had every year the worst offensive roster in football. Take the quarterback away, offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs, worst offensive roster, and on top of that, Adam Gase, what a shitty coach. So
I just remember because he was in the draft when the Browns took Baker, and I wanted no part of him because I remember Ohio State played them, and I'm a big Ohio State fan in the bowl game, and they made him look like a high school quarterback in
Maybe
the bowl.
that's what
They
I'm
just
talking about.
completely destroyed him, and I remember watching that game, and I'm like, I want no part of Sam Darnold right now. Like when the Browns had that pick,
Yeah,
I actually wanted Josh Allen.
yeah, that's like I think that's definitely what I think I'm referring to. There was some game where I feel like he did not perform to expectations, and I was just kind of like,
well,
I don't remember if that was the national championship game or if that was like a playoff game. I can't remember.
No, it had to be.
But
I don't even know if it was playoff because he was playing.
I don't know if they
USC.
had playoffs yet.
I don't even know that USC's been in a playoff game since it's been open. So it had to be
I just remember Ohio State absolutely destroyed, like making him look like just terrible. And then I was off the bandwagon there.
I mean,
I'm sure someone in chat might know, but
he always had issues with turnovers. That's always been his big issue. But a lot of it, like if you look at his college numbers, a lot of it's fumbles. I mean, that's still an issue, obviously, but yeah.
bless you, Sam.
thank you. Sorry, I went on mute for that. But the thing about Darnold too is we have Robbie Anderson. I know he was with Sam in New York too. So,
But
I think
Robbie likes him, right?
yeah. I think like essentially Robbie was like almost the number one for the Jets back then.
Oh, he was. Well,
Yeah.
Robbie
He tore it up.
He's a phenomenal deep threat, but I mean the Jets roster is so bad is that their like super speedy guy on the outside was their best wide receiver. Also, usually isn't normal. That's not normal. So
You better go buy some more, Dakota.
I'm trying, man. This is a silver. It didn't really show up on camera, but that's $25, man. A BGS 9, $25. It's just dirt cheap.
BGS 9 with no subgrades is like an SGC
yeah, but it's
9.
$25. I bought.
No. I'm not hating it. I'm just saying like that's the type of stuff that you could buy ridiculously cheap because no one looks for it.
Yeah, it's true. BGS. I've been. We talk about my slabs a little bit in Discord. You and me going back and comment. I've been looking on legit. I just go to my slab, search BGS, and just find dirty cheap deals. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I like it.
I mean, I think I talked to you about it when I bought the Vlad Sapphire. A PSA 10 was comping for 1,900 and the BGS 9.5 was 1,000. I'm like,
it's ridiculous.
The hate's gone too far.
Yeah.
Where are you at on BGS, Sam? Or are you mostly PSA SGC?
So I think I own like one BGS and it's like a Luke Kuechly and I got it literally for like $5. So it was like whatever. Buy it. But I actually do like BGS, the overall look of the slab better than any of the grading companies. I just think it goes with more cards more so than like a red label of PSA. I wish PSA looked like BGS essentially. But in terms of value, I also agree. I heard you talking earlier. I think, the BGS 9.5, like I just feel like there is good value there. I mean, at a certain point, they were almost like, I mean, I don't think I was in the hobby at this time, but from what I've heard, they were almost similar pricing, like if not the same pricing.
Beyond that, Sam, a lot of people weren't in the hobby as long as some other people. BGS used to be the number one grader.
Right.
BGS 9.5 was top of the class, equal to PS. When I say equal, I mean like equal today to PSA 10. And I did a video about why buying goats is bad. And like PSA, the investment on PSA looks good for a Michael Jordan PSA 10. But part of the issue is that 20 years ago, BGS was the number one grader. And so like a PSA 10 price was really suppressed. And for whatever reason, at some point, PSA took over BGS as like the favorable grader in the hobby. And so I like, to your point, I like BGS. The slabs are better. They're a lot thicker. They're more protective. They have UV protection, which is really nice. They have subgrades, which is really nice. I would love to see PSA do that, but who knows if that'll ever happen. But yeah.
Yeah, I like buying BGS, but I would not send them cards. Like they are the hottest of hot messes when it comes to grading companies.
It has been. Today I just sent off that Josh Allen patch that dual patch quad color auto. I sent that off today, which has to go to BGS. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But like, yeah, I agree. From like just a business perspective, they've been awful. Like, what are you doing? Like, they were completely quiet. Then they shut everything down. It's just like, you got to be more interactive with us. This is a very fast and interactive hobby. You got to talk to us.
Right.
And the thing, go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say, yeah, no, I agree. I think it's like they really dropped the ball on like marketing, obviously some supply chain operations problem they got going on too. Like, I mean, obviously they couldn't control or didn't see the outlook. I mean, I don't think anyone really predicted this, but like, I don't know, the marketing issue of, just really not communicating and not really, I feel like the other thing too is they haven't really made any moves that like instills any faith in like the consumer to use them. Like, what has changed? Can you tell us anything that's changed? Like,
they put out that, what was that, about a month ago, 2 months ago, when they put out that condescending statement about like, you guys haven't heard anything from us because we've just been doing work, yet no one's getting BGS subs back.
We're also 6 months behind, but we've been doing work
6 months, like 12 months.
Maybe, it was probably.
I'm in, so I don't use any group submitters, but I like joining all their Facebook groups just to kind of see like the vibe. Like I'm in like like a lot of the bigger ones, just to kind of see like what the turnaround times are looking like for them, like what's kind of like the energy and vibe in the room, like what are people posting about in those rooms. And there's people who are like, hey, is my July 2020 10 day back yet, as we're in like July 2021 or 20 day or whatever. That's the other thing about BGS. I don't understand their things. And then their one piece of communication is like, I'm going to talk down to the rest of the grading industry, even though we haven't done a thing. I just don't understand how you could still be backed up when I don't know anyone that sends them cards. I always joke, like, tell me other than 502 Frank, like, when's the last time you saw, like, here's my BGS reveal, whereas you see PSA reveals and now SGC reveals left and right. Like, how many maybe it's just a niche thing with content creators, but like, I just don't see BGS reveal videos very often.
Well, to your point, I think very much content creators like to go to the PSA, but I think true dealers, actual guys who own card shops like to go to BGS. I think that's where a lot of that goes. And BGS gets a lot of play. I've been thinking about this a little bit. If I have a modern basketball card, I want it in PSA. If I have a modern baseball card, I want it in BGS. If I have a patch auto, I'd like it in BGS. In football, I could split it. High-end football, I like in BGS. Run-of-the-mill football, I prefer in PSA. But that's just me.
See, the only thing I consider BGS is like a must for is the thicker patch auto cards, which we discussed multiple times. And anything auto, I think, at least if it's a clean auto, because you do not want to get a BGS 9 auto. It kills the card. It has to be a clean auto. Like, I was looking at Vlad autos, and apparently he must sign like an 8-year-old because most of his autos do not look good and probably would not BGS 10. So you see a lot of his stuff in PSA slabs, I think, specifically for that.
Yeah. So what is this Vlad flip game? How many Vlads have you had in the past week?
I don't know what it is. Like, I bought the purple, sold it, then I bought this sapphire, and then I bought another one that the blue, which I talked about on the IG chat. That's supposed to ship Monday. Fingers crossed. After I got burned by this. Well, here's the other thing that made me mad about that. If I'm going to rant. So I bought that, and then the guy emails me, and he's like, I'm going to ship this on Monday. By the way, it's coming from Hong Kong. Which My Slabs does approve international sellers. And if you guys hear sounds in the background, that's not gunshots. That's fireworks starting early.
Wow.
Shady neighborhood.
So that's coming from Hong Kong DHL Express. Apparently, he said it happened.
How is that allowed?
Business days.
Well, I mean,
you're allowed to be international. I read because then I went and checked. It says if international sellers can be approved,
they don't allow.
Yeah, international sellers can be approved. So because then I was like, wait, is this, because I did the same thing as you? Is this even allowed? Apparently, they are supposed to put in the title that it's coming from overseas. Like they're supposed to put like Vlad PSA 10 shipping from Canada, Hong Kong, wherever. He didn't do that, but he has, like it says, like successful MySlab transactions. The seller has like 20 successful transactions. So everything looks legit. It's a brand new PSA label with Lighthouse and everything on it. The cert number looks good. So, I I'm not thinking it's like a fake. It's a numbered card. I'm not thinking it's like a fake card or anything like that. But that would I'm trying to. I think that would have changed my decision on if I would have put an offer in on it though or not. To be quite honest.
Side note: did you ever read the? It's like the Beckett chat board messaging between the owner of Alt and then that a Taiwanese teacher that sold him some cards.
No.
I really recommend everybody go check that out. If I can find the link, I'll send it to you. It was really interesting. I had an Alt account and I deleted it after reading that account. The owner for Alt went and commented he was the buyer in this transaction. He commented it was pretty shady. So I'm not a big.
You have to send me the link for that. Well, they're owned by Nat Turner's group.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They have some ownership in it. I think. This particular guy, the buyer that was in this transaction, which was it was a huge read, and it was really interesting from a hobby perspective. He's the primary owner. I forget his name, but yeah.
Dakota's actually in our Instagram group chat, but I think he ignores it.
In Instagram?
I added you to the national content creators thing that I put together. Maybe you didn't join it because you're not going to the national. Oops.
I don't know. Legitimately, I have not seen any notifications.
Check. It's probably there. You probably have to accept it to get in.
Maybe so. I don't go on Instagram a lot.
They're a little behind the scenes here for chat, but I created an Instagram group for content creators going to the national. You're more than welcome to hang out in there, Dakota, even though you're not. The
missus is too pregnant. We can't be going.
I get it. I understand. I still like to throw shade your way though.
Yeah, someone added.
Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it grew exponentially. I feel like in the past day or so, 2 days.
Last week or so, I added Ryan from Breakout Cards, and he went on an adding spree, which was fine. That's the whole purpose of it. But it went from like one level to like the next level within like a 6-hour period. I'm like, why do I have like 50 messages? What is happening right now?
Are you going, Sam? Are you going to the national?
Yep, I'm going, but sad to hear trade night is still set for Thursday because I'm only going Friday through Sunday. So. And I also saw from TriStar, who's doing like the autographs, that Luke Kuechly is going to be there on Thursday.
On which day?
On Thursday, so I won't be there.
Oh.
It's fine. And I can't move my flight. I did like a cheap option where it's like you can't even move it. And so I'm just like, well, and honestly, I don't know if I would want to take off another day of work for that. So,
that sucks. Drive. How long's the drive? What's the Atlanta to Chicago drive?
I was actually looking and I did not realize that it's, I don't know, so I'm from North Carolina and I guess I just think things are a little bit further because Atlanta is more west, but I don't know. It kind of looks bad. I don't know if I'd want to do
6 hours for me.
It's got to be. I was gonna say 8 hours.
It says 10 hours. That's a lot.
Getting a little feedback on one of you. I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I heard that too. I don't know what that was. I'm trying to find it out.
Was it me? I didn't do anything, but it could have been me.
I don't know. I think it might be okay now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good now. I don't know what that was.
Interesting. So I looked it up and it's 10 hours from where I am now. I'm technically not in Atlanta right now. But let's see. From Atlanta.
Have you been to Savannah yet?
I've been to Savannah, but I think I went a few years ago. I actually did a 5K in Savannah. So
a 5K. Oh, we have an athlete here on the comment in the live stream.
Yeah, because you could just drive it.
I could, but it's.
Then you'd be out the flight and a day's work, and you got to drive. Then what do you do with your car? That's a whole other host of problems.
Very true. That's the other thing I was thinking about. I'm supposed to get there early Friday, and I'm sure check-in isn't until Friday afternoons. What am I going to be doing with my suitcase?
Usually, most hotels will hold your bags for you.
Right.
I mean, you'd want to keep your card and your cards and your camera equipment on you, probably, but just your regular luggage. The hotel front desk will hold it for you until your check-in time, usually.
Yeah.
Especially at a hotel like that by an airport. They're designed for that sort of stuff.
And I know, the hotel I'm at, I forget which one, but it's not, right at that intersection. It's, an intersection up, essentially.
I think you're in the same hotel as Steve and Brad, the comeback card investor.
Yeah, I think
Boo.
so.
I know Hannah and I are in the same hotel, along with Dustin, personal finance dad, and a few others. But that's one of the ones that's on site.
Is it the
So,
Crown? Is that the
yeah,
one?
we're all in the. A bunch of us are in the Crown.
Yeah, I think I obviously I looked later and those prices, I was like, no. If I'm gonna go, I'm not staying here.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to deal with like by the time you start factoring in like, okay, I got to take an Uber back and forth. Like anytime I want to run back to the room, I have to Uber, or like I'm beholden to like other people that I rode with grabbing an Uber or whatever to just be able to like, hey, I need to go like check out for like I need a timeout. Like I just need to go zone out for like an hour or whatever, just to be able to walk back to the hotel room whenever I want.
Yeah, I was also kind of thinking, and Hannah offered, I was like, I could just chill with Hannah if I needed to.
Yeah, I'm sure. Plus, there'll probably be other people there. I'm sure that you'll know. I'm super excited for the national. I can't believe that we're basically 3.5 weeks now
Yeah,
away.
crazy.
And you guys get Atlanta as like an appetizer.
I know, yeah. I think
I am. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the Card Talk guys are doing both Dallas and Atlanta, or at least Tyler is. I think like
Are
they
they going
may.
to like one for like a day and then leaving and
Yeah,
going to the other one?
I
What the
think I
hell?
think I think they said they were gonna do like Dallas on Friday and maybe Atlanta on Saturday or something.
I think Ryan's going to Atlanta. I don't know.
Mm.
CC2, he's going to
Yeah,
Atlanta.
I
I'm
I don't
surprised.
remember.
He's a big Dallas goer. I mean,
Yeah, I
the
think a lot
Atlanta,
of people are intrigued by what this Atlanta show is
exactly.
all
It's
about.
unique. Yep, I agree with that. Yeah.
It's the first time, it's new, it's a different location, so like there's probably the potential to get different buyers because like more East Coast people could get to Atlanta a lot easier.
Hey, that's all right. I'm gonna do well at Dallas then when nobody shows up.
I mean, Atlanta's the easiest. I mean, it's the worst airport to fly in and out of, but it's probably the place that you could get the flights the cheapest because
I
every
wouldn't
single
say the
airline
worst.
flies to
It's just a
Atlanta.
huge airport. You know,
Yeah,
it's good though.
The thing is, though, like if people aren't familiar with Atlanta, the airport to where the show is far. It's
an
like
expensive Uber.
it's like the whole city. Like the airport is South Atlanta, and then the
Yeah.
show is like Northeast.
Mm.
So if you're not aware, be prepared for that.
And Atlanta traffic, I've heard, is no joke.
It's not great.
Yeah, it was terrible. I just got back from vacation last weekend, and I was Ubering from the airport to my apartment, and it's probably, like the Uber there on the way there was only $30. The Uber back was $60. It was like, no.
Holy smokes. So, okay. So, Sam, you're going to Atlanta. Are you looking for anything in particular, or are you just going to get the vibe and like see if you run into something that catches your eye? Or do you have like a specific, like, I really want a LeBron James Topps Chrome PSA 8?
I don't know. I feel like I probably won't pull the trigger on anything big unless I see it. I don't know. I really don't have any plans. I'm kind of just going to look around. I think I'm honestly might still be in that mindset of saving for the national. But then again, I guess if I'm at a show 2 weeks prior, I could always, if something really, was there that I wanted, I could just go ahead and do that. So that's kind of my main thing. Just hang out. I think like a good amount of people are going to be there. So that should be fun too. Just another hangout show as well. And it helps that you don't have to pay for a hotel. I can drive my own car. Super nice.
See, that's all money that you save that you could buy something instead.
That's true. I could look at it that way as well.
Like you saved like $400 on hotel and flights. So
Exactly. So I should spend $400 essentially is the plan.
yeah. But I mean, you might. I mean, if you run into something that's a good deal, you could always look at it as like, hey, this is just like trade bait for the national or whatever, or something that I could look to either flip or have in your ammo belt for the show 2 weeks later.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. I think someone asked this in the live earlier, but like, where is the football market going to be in 2 weeks? Is it still going to be about NBA? Like, I guess the finals will be going on possibly.
They could potentially be over.
Yeah, so I'm not
Okay.
sure kind of what that's going to look like. But is it going to just like transition to football or, really what's going to be going on?
Yeah, I mean, I did a video earlier this week where it looks like maybe football's slowly starting to pick up a little bit. Like Mahomes stuff is slowly starting to creep, and I feel like if football's going to move, he would be the first one to shift. But I don't know, and I feel like once the finals are over, oh, there's some PH3 right there.
Yeah.
I feel like once basketball's over, that everything's going to go down. Whether other than maybe Chris Paul, I think pretty much everyone's stuff's going to go down regardless of who wins or loses.
I mean, yeah, that's what happened, I think, in football with Mahomes and Brady. I mean, Brady went up, but then
Brady went up, but I think Brady's a unique case, though.
Right.
That was like a legacy title.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to touch Brady. I just firmly believe no one else is going to get 7 rings. Like, who? I just don't think Mahomes can get there. People might think, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there. But, and then LeBron, when they won, last summer, didn't his stuff go down as well?
Him and AD's both cratered the day after.
Yeah.
I think there was a 1-day period that night, because it's simple supply and demand. What happens is everyone sits and holds this stuff, and then the second they win, everyone dumps everything onto the market all at the same time, and there's not enough buyers, and the prices go down. The reverse happens of what you would think would happen.
I'm so worried about football post the national, because everyone's saying after the national, football is going to be on fire. That's the time to sell. I'm worried that football might crater post national.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that for sure. I mean, it's come down a little bit already. If you look at the last 30 days, 60 days worth of stuff, it's gone down, not as hard as basketball has. It's not a cliff like Donovan Mitchell stuff did or whatever, but it's definitely a slow downward trend. And if you look at the last 10 days or so, almost all the key quarterbacks are flat. Baker, Josh, Mahomes is slightly creeping up. Kyler is flat. The rookies are still creeping down, like Herbert, Burrow, Jalen. But so I think the next 2 weeks is going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Does football begin to move? Because July is when it should start to, at least, I'm not saying it's going to go up 50%, but you would think if football is going to pick up, you would at least start seeing green week to week on most key football stuff.
Well, I mean,
even if it's small increases.
Based on how much the market's gone down in other sports, the fact that football's staying flat it's a sign that football is actually going up. I understand that it's flat, but the market's dipped so much that flat is good.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Plus, which this gets tricky, football is a lot lower pop. You don't have really high pop football cards, but you also don't have the same amount of buyers either. The basketball market just has more buyers, because it's international. So you immediately have a much larger field to sell to. So that balances, that does play in the sum effect. But most football stuff is not high population. Even Kyler stuff is not there's not 15,000 Kyler PSA 10 prisms out there. I forget how many he has, but I know 2018.
There you go. I just have stuff on the desk, man. I'm sorry.
2018 football, I think everyone's sub 1,000 PSA 10 base prisms.
Oh yeah,
close to
2018 football is super low pop. I kind of came back to buying stuff at Target in 2018, and I bought a 2018 box of Prism, and I got Sam Darnold, which I was super happy about because I've liked him since he was in high school. And but then I didn't realize how rare, how lucky I got to hit that card. Pop reports are insanely low. The print runs for football compared to basketball, it's crazy. It's crazy how low it is.
It's picked up recently. If you look at Kyler, I think his PSA 10 prism is 2K pop, give or take.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure Herbert's and Burrows would be massive.
Nothing close to basketball. When you look at Zion, it's 20K almost. I mean, it's literally 10% of basketball. It's crazy.
Football's the one sport where base hate's gone probably too far.
Especially, to your point, especially 2018 and earlier. Especially 2018 and earlier.
Yeah. And even 2019, like I said, Kyler's not that bad. I mean, I talked about, I don't think you were here at the beginning, Dakota, but this was my one trade that I made yesterday.
Ooh, I didn't see that. Very nice.
So Baker field level base. This is pop 19.
You know what's funny?
Is the base are rarer than the silvers on
I
field
was going
level.
to say that's 2018 funny about
and
19 field level. It's weird. A base is more rare than silver. It's
because I think it came down to that field level base were 1 per box, and silvers were 2 per box or something. I forget what the.
That's exactly right.
It was the way the pack odds came out. And actually, if you look at most select, this is one of those weird things. If you look at most select silver, other than field levels and court sides, if you look at Premier and Concourse silvers, their pop counts are almost the same on silvers, regardless of sport or year. They'll be similar to each other.
No, you're exactly right. From Concourse to field level to Premier, all three of those, the silvers basically have the same pop count, but then the bases don't. And then the earlier you go back, the less and less field or court side there is. So yeah, 2015 field level, court side, whatever, super low pop in base. It actually would prefer the base over the silver.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, Joel says base hate makes me upset. Most rookies are base. Like the base hate can only go so far because everyone still needs an entry point. Like not everyone's coming in and buying, Vlad Sapphires or Trey Silvers or whatever. Like most people coming in are starting at PSA 9 Trey base Prisms or PSA 9 Bakers or whatever. So at some point in time, it's gonna level itself out. And you always have to have base. That's always going to be the roots that everyone starts at if you're entering in, unless you're just entering in with a suitcase of money. But most people aren't.
Try me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think it makes sense, risk-wise to come in automatically spending that much money in something you probably early on don't know that much about. So it's just, you got to buy something that you just like dip your toes in type of thing. But speaking of like, I remember you did this video on Lamar and his Prism. Isn't that the one that's like super hard grade in the 10?
Yeah. His base PSA 10 Prism is one of the toughest base grades of 2018 Prism. It's like half the population count of Baker, Sam, Josh, everyone else from that class.
Yeah.
And it commands a premium because of that. Like his stuff's priced way higher because of that.
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys in that year, 2018 football Prism, their 10 to 9 is 5 to 1. A lot of them.
The other thing that's the ridiculously low pop count one is 2018 Prism Silver football. They are near impossible to find.
That's insanely low. Because
if you get in Market Movers or Card Ladder or whatever your tool of choice is and try to find a 2018 Silver PSA 10 sale, I think one Baker has sold in the last calendar year.
Yes, nothing.
Maybe two. Insanely. And even 9's not that many stuff.
Yeah, even if you do 9s and 10s, it's literally like 5 in the last year, 12 months. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think like a PSA 9 quarterback from 18 goes for multiple thousands because they're that rare. I think it was one silver per box, period, full stop on 2018 Prism football. You got one silver. That's it. Out of the entire box was one silver. And whether it's a rookie or not, is anyone's guess. How lucky do you get?
Is that out of hobby or like Blaster?
I don't remember the specifics, but I just remember 2018 silvers are ridiculously low. I'll look. You guys chat. I'll pull it up on my real quick.
Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say, and then 2017 is really weird because the base is a silver, so like it's like they went the opposite way the next year where there's like no silver and like the previous year was all silver.
That's why 2018 silvers are so rare. You got 2016 and 2017, the base rookies are silvers. The base cards are not, but the base rookies are. And then 2018 football, they bring back silver and then the base version of non-silver. And the silver versions in football in 2018 are just wild, insanely rare. I mean, ridiculously rare. But it makes it pretty awesome, especially because it was such a good quarterback class with Baker, Josh Allen, and then Lamar. And then for people like me who are dumb, Sam Darnold. And for people who are even dumber, Josh Allen. So, or not Josh Rosen. Sorry, Josh Rosen.
Oh, yeah, Josh Rosen. Yeah, he was a
Baker PSA 10 Prism Silver is pop 13. 3 have sold since January 1, 2020.
That's wild.
Wow.
PSA 9 is 44. Josh Allen PSA 10 is 25, pop 25. Lamar is pop 24. And the 9s are about 50 to 60. Josh Allen's is pop 56. Lamar's 9 is pop 60.
What's the price on the 9s, Neo?
So the last sale date on a Baker is not relevant because it was May 7th, 2020.
Gosh.
Wow.
The last 9 did 700 actually on March 2nd. The last Josh Allen 10 sold on March 19th for 8.6K. The last Lamar sold in December for 5K.
10.
And actually, an Allen 9, oh, here we go. An Allen 9 just sold on June 2nd, which is a month ago, for 1.5K. And a Lamar sold a couple days later for 1K.
Those both seem like bargains when you talk about pop reports.
That was the Lamar was 2 months ago. That was May 5th. The Josh Allen was exactly a month ago, 31 days ago.
Lamar 9 silver sold for 1K.
On 5.5, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't
That's a
seem
pop 69.
interesting. What like can you go back in time? Like what was its peak or like, you know, during
The high over the last year and a half was 3.3K.
Oh my goodness!
His stuff really peaked in August of last year.
As most football did. You know, a lot of people talk about this spike we saw in February is like we'll never see a spike like that again. But I remember everyone saying that post August and saying we'll never see a spike like this again. And then we did again in February. So I'm curious to see if we see it again in August this year.
Here's a good one for you. A Lamar 2018 Silver Prism sold on 8/9/2020 last year. What do you think it went for?
A Lamar 8-9 PSA what?
PSA 10 on August 9th
On
of
August
last
9th,
year. The peak of the hype.
$8,000.
Sam, what's your guess?
I think more. I'll say 12.
16K.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Sam wins the non-existent prize.
The price is right, I guess.
Yeah.
The highest but not over.
Well, damn, I would have gone 13 and a dollar or whatever.
His base prism was insanely high last August.
Oh, if you look at his
It
base
was like
prism,
4K, I think, or
Oh,
something.
even
It was
in a
ridiculous.
9.
It was crazy.
even in a 9, they're insane. And that's why I like his 9 so much right now. Lamar, his 9's base prism is like $100, but that has like peaks of like $1,000. I mean, it's like, yeah, you know, it's low risk, high reward because the pop reports are small, like you said.
People fell off Lamar after last season. Like they were
Which
like,
is dumb to me because he can't win a playoff game. He wins a playoff game. Well, he can't win another playoff. I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
well, he had a pretty mediocre. I mean, I shouldn't say mediocre is too harsh, but he did not live up to the lofty expectations people had for him last season. I mean, they made the playoffs and everything, but he wasn't putting up like the video game numbers like he did the year before. So I think that hurt him.
He's still an MVP level quarterback. Lamar, people are too hard on Lamar. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I didn't watch enough of this past year. I didn't watch like as much. I just feel like it was harder. But normally I'm like super hard into the NFL. So I'm excited for this year for sure.
Why were you off it this year?
I don't know. I graduated school in 2020 and then I had a new job in August. So just different life priorities at the time, I guess. And that was the first year probably like ever in my whole life that I didn't go to like a Panthers home game. So I was sad. But
What did you go to school in Atlanta?
no, I went to University of South Carolina. So
Oh, yeah.
yep. But I watched a lot of SEC still. So am I the only one collecting old WNBA?
I feel like if anyone's going to have a WNBA collection, it would be you.
I have newer WNBA. I've looked recently. So as I just said, I went to South Carolina and Dawn Staley is the coach. She's also the Olympic coach. And she also played in WNBA for the Charlotte Sting. So a lot of connections to Dawn Staley. So I have some of her cards that I've been looking at that are a bit older. And then I also have some of the newer players from South Carolina who are in the WNBA, like Asia Wilson. She's also on the Olympic team this year. And we have a few other players in the WNBA as well. But older ones are like, you talk about low pop as well. I'm pretty sure like the previous WNBA sets are like non-existent in, population. That could be totally wrong, but I don't think there's, especially like the autos and things like that. Like, I just don't think there were that many out there.
So this was like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was looking to see what Becky Hammond rookies were out there in
Okay.
case she got the head coaching job.
Yeah, it's
And there was actually an auction running for an SGC.
What coaching job did she get? Head coach.
9 points. She didn't. She was a front runner for the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
And she's on the short list for the Pelicans. I don't know if she's going to get it or not. But yeah, there was actually, I forget what year it was, but I put in Becky Hammond rookie, and there multiple of this card came up. There was an SGC old label 96 because they used to do like full, like it wouldn't be an SGC 9 or an SGC 10. It would be like an SGC 93 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was an old label SGC 96, which I forget what that converts to. I guess a 9.5. I don't know.
I think it's right. 9.5, yeah.
It went for like, I forget what it went for. I could probably find it on 130 point, but it went for a little more than I thought that it was. I was like, oh, if this goes super cheap, maybe I'll just make a play. And if she gets she's probably going to get a coaching job at some point in time. I don't know that would spike it or not, but.
Yeah, I think there's also, I don't know, I don't collect her, but Diana Taurasi, she just hit, I think, like 9,000 like all-time points possibly. Oh yeah, Taurasi. Yeah, I'm sure it's like, and they're actually kind of expensive, honestly. Like some of her rookies, like Taurasi and Sue Bird, are like the legends in WNBA, and they're like multiple thousands of dollars for like a good rookie of theirs. So it's not like just like, oh, let's, But also, that reminded me, I feel like either this morning or yesterday morning, I woke up to some news about like Doris Burke talking about Becky Hammond and like a coaching job or something. I don't know. Maybe I made that up, but
as a Houston native and fan, I would like to get some Cynthia Cooper, some Swoops, some Tina Thompson. We won 4 straight with the Houston Comets back in the day. I would like some of those. I'm sure those are dirt cheap. I don't think too many people are buying Swoops. Maybe people are buying a lot of, but Cheryl, when I was in middle school, she came to our middle school and gave like a hype speech, and it was pretty cool. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are some bigger name players, and I think too, like with the Olympics as well, like going on. I think that's kind of where they get more notoriety of like.
Well, yeah. Winning. Go ahead. Women's sports in general, I mean, they're on fire from a card collecting perspective. I mean, they're. What Mia Hamm just set the record for the highest women's sports sale ever. Mm-hmm. And even before that, I mean, people were talking about women's sports is on fire. Serena's another big one. Not too much in golf, but then the WNBA, Taurasi's a huge one. People really like her. So,
yeah.
Someone had a bunch of Mia Hamm yesterday at trade night.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. What kind of Mia Hamm? Is it Sports Illustrated?
I have no idea what I was looking at. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, she has the Sports Illustrated, and then there's like an Upper Deck, I think, like 90.
I think it was upper. It wasn't SI for kids or anything like that. That I would have remembered. I think it was an Upper Deck card. That rings a bell.
Yeah. Anyways, I was looking at this situation. Apparently, Doris Burke like made some comments about Hammond in Portland. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
They ended up going with Chauncey. So
okay.
Yeah, who then they were talking about sexual assault and all that stuff from him 20 or 30 years ago, even. I don't know.
Chauncey Billups? That's who they went with?
Yeah, Chauncey Billups is the Trailblazers head coach.
He was on the Nuggets. Is that like his biggest with Carmelo? Was he there?
No. His biggest is with the Pistons in 04.
Pistons.
He won a championship.
He was on the Nuggets though, too.
Yeah.
I think he got drafted by the Nuggets and traded to the Pistons.
I mean, there were people talk. No, Chauncey Billups was drafted by the Celtics in '96, and then goes to the Pistons, and then the Nuggets. There were literally teams looking at Billups as a potential president of basketball operations.
The Cavs almost brought him in as their president right before LeBron left.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's highly, highly respected in the basketball community. And I think a lot of it has to do with his time in Detroit. So
that's one thing I had heard about, just like people liking players and not liking players. But Chris Paul, one thing I had heard about him was he wasn't always the like most liked guy in the NBA. Have you all heard that as well, or did I just like?
He's I forget what podcast I was listening to. He's like a more accepted version of Patrick Beverley. Like he's like an irritant, but he does it at a more professional level than Beverly does, I guess is the right way to phrase it.
Chris
Okay.
Paul has always been referred to as the point god because he's a phenomenal point guard. But the problem is, it's not even a problem. He's hard on his teammates. So when you put him next to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, two guys who think they're superstars, they're like, I don't want to put up with this guy's crap. But when you put him on a young team like the Suns and the year prior, the Thunder, they listen to him and they respect him and they work around him. And that's why he's been so good in Phoenix and before that in OKC. So
And
guys respect him, but he's hard on teammates, but he's hard on teammates because he expects people to be professional.
Right. Was he also the president of Players Association? Was that him?
Yes.
Yeah, him and LeBron.
Okay. I just feel like I remember hearing like news that like players didn't always like, I guess it could just been like he is hard on people and he has high standards, but yeah, like players weren't always the biggest fan of him in general. But I wonder, like, in terms of popularity, like I know the Suns, obviously they're doing well, but I don't really know people who collect Chris Paul. Obviously he's great. Like I think he's been a guy that's probably not gotten enough, recognition during his time for what he does consistently, but I just don't know many Chris Paul collectors.
I mean, he's moved from a lot of different teams. But
Right.
if he wins this championship, his cards are going to go through the roof. His cards will go through the roof if he wins the chip.
I think he's the one that would not see a decline. One, because like if you look, his Topps Chrome, PSA 10 and PSA 9 total population between the two grades is like 600. So there's just not a lot of them out there for the market to get flooded in the first place.
What year is he? He's 05, 06?
Yeah, 05, 06. So there's not a lot of his stuff out there to begin with, so I don't think it could be like a LeBron AD situation. Not like their guys' stuff is super high pop either, but his PSA 10, they're almost equal. Like one's like 260 and one's like 250 or something like that on the population report on his Chrome. And there is other stuff out there. He has a Hoops rookie and he has a Topps paper and there's some other like obscure stuff, but the Topps Chrome would obviously be the one that you would probably want, like if you were going to go for the investment level card or whatever. And then he obviously has like Topps Chrome refractors and all that stuff too. But yeah, he would be the one guy because it would be him getting a title is like legacy cementing because he's probably the best player in the NBA of the old guard that does not have a ring. And I don't think it's close. Like there's a lot of younger guys that are really good that don't have one yet, but like of guys that are towards the end that have had all-time great careers that don't have a ring yet, has to be number one on that list probably by a mile. But just going off the top of my head.
That's what I'm wondering too. He is like older in his career, so like would he just want to retire or like would he try to go?
No, there's
no chance.
You think
he can opt out of his deal after this year. He's going to get paid.
Yeah. He's going to try to get a max contract there in Phoenix and repeat and see if they can do it, maybe 2 championships in 4 years or something.
How many years has he? Okay, so I guess I could do the math.
He's 37, I think. He's 37.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm used to like football years. That's like really old.
I mean, that's old for NBA years. That's 30. I mean, for other than maybe hockey, that's pretty old. Because I know like hockey guys go forever.
Interesting. So, I mean, yeah, I guess good for him. He'll just continue to make more money, but probably sit on the bench for the next few years getting hurt. But I feel like. Yeah,
I mean, he was like the poster child for the unlucky injuries.
As a Rockets fan, let me tell you, we almost put an end to the Warriors dynasty. Then Chris Paul pulled a hammy.
Came damn close that year.
And
then he had a lot of bad luck on the Clippers too. He got hurt twice, I think, in playoff runs, and then he got unlucky the years he stayed healthy. Blake got hurt, so he's had a lot of bad luck. That's why everyone was so distraught when he got thrown in the COVID protocols because they're like, seriously again. Yeah. And when he hurt his shoulder earlier in the playoffs.
I forget about his career. Jeez, he's been with like everybody or a lot of people.
Well, and he was famously on the Pelicans and got traded to the Lakers, and the NBA voided the trade, and then he got traded to the Lakers or the Clippers.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be on the He got traded to the Lakers, and that was when the NBA owned the Pelicans because they were in between owners, and the league threw a fit because he was going to the Lakers, and the owners voted and nullified the trade, and he got sent back to the Pelicans, and then they had to redo the deal to send him to the Clippers Otherwise, he would have been a Laker with Kobe.
Which would have been awesome.
That's like one of the, if you like listen to any Bill Simmons stuff, that's like the greatest NBA what if.
Yeah.
If like one of like the NBA greatest what ifs of what if that trade did not get nullified.
Really, it might be the greatest. I mean, they literally both teams accepted the trade. I mean, the trade should have gone through. It's ridiculous that it didn't. And most people go back and look at that trade and say, like, the Lakers offered a lot more for Chris Paul than what the Clippers did. And it's ridiculous and absurd that David Stern and the NBA rejected the trade from the Lakers.
Plus, I think he was drafted by the Hornets, which then became the Pelicans, and then he was on that team that had to play the year in Oklahoma City because of Katrina, because they couldn't play at home, so he got stuck playing in Oklahoma City. I don't know if we lost Sam, but I see Sam is frozen.
Oh yeah, and another part about that trade that people don't really talk about, Pau Gasol was supposed to go to the Rockets, and that was a good Rockets team. It could have made the Rockets championship contenders with that trade. It was a good trade all around, but the NBA declined it for whatever reason.
I'm just messaging Sam real quick. Vamp for me, Dakota.
No worries. I hate everything. No, I'm just kidding. I love everybody. What's up in the chat, though? I've seen a lot of good stuff in the chat. Let me go here.
Yeah, fire something out. I get this. I'm not good at. Oh, someone did say Melo. He would probably be next on the list of guys that don't have rings.
Cynthia Cooper, Goat, Leslie, and then Lisa Leslie. Yep. There was some good stuff in chat. I'm not allowed to click on it. I wish I could. Absolute sham. The NBA pulled that trade.
Sam's gone.
It's all
Sam
right.
ghosted us.
I'm going to go here in about 10 minutes because I got to go.
I was not planning on going this long anyways.
No.
It's all good, though.
Yeah, dude, Blake Griffin, disappointment. I'll never forget Blake Griffin like dunking and his head basically touching the top of the backboard. And I'm like, what is this freak athlete? And it's wild. But yeah, people were, man, the year that was Chris Paul got hurt and Blake Griffin just went off, like just his mid-range game was on point. Blake Griffin should have been MVP that year. He was phenomenal. But then they sucked in the playoffs because they're the Clippers.
Yeah, Sam's having some sort of internet issue. So she's out.
What's your take on you got your Slave One back there? What's your take on them changing the name?
It will always be Slave One to me. Oh, hold on. Oh, Sam's biggest NBA what if? What if the Hornets drafted Kobe?
Is the Hornets they drafted Kobe, right?
I forget the exact details.
No, it's Memphis. The Grizzlies drafted Kobe. Is that right?
Yeah, but I think the Hornets passed on him. So she's just saying, basically, you could probably insert any team that passed on dropping Kobe in that draft, because I forget where he went, like 8th or 9th, I think. I don't remember.
He did go late. Let's see. Kobe went 13th to the Hornets. Yeah, he did go to the Hornets.
Oh, and then they flipped him.
And then they traded him to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's right.
Before him in the draft, here's the 12 names before him. Allen Iverson went 1. I don't think anyone would really argue with that. Marcus Camby went 2. Marcus Camby had a good NBA career.
Who went 1? I missed who you said.
Oh, Iverson, AI.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's legit.
Sharif Abdur-Rahim went 3. Stephon Marbury went 4. Ray Allen went 5. I mean, there's 2 Hall of Famers.
That's a loaded draft. I loved Sharif Abdur-Rahim in NBA 2K, whatever that was.
Yeah, people loved him too. Antoine Walker went 6. I mean, this is a good draft. And then it falls off. Lorenz Wright, Kerry Kittles, Samaki Walker, Eric Dampier, Todd Fuller, Vitale Popinik, and then Kobe. And
that's Vitaly Potapenko to my Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hey, there you go. You know what's up.
And Kerry Kittles had a couple of good years with the 76ers. Eric Dampier played in the league forever.
Dampier played for a while, yeah. And then at 14, you've got Peja Stojakovic, right? 1 pick after Kobe. And then at 15, you got Steve Nash. So really a good in an NBA draft.
Yeah, I do remember this, what Dub says. He was one of those guys that was like, I'm not playing. I'm not going to come to you. Don't draft me. So that's why he slipped.
Oh, that's interesting. Just like Lonzo Ball. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I was 5 when he got drafted. So what do I know about anything?
Don't make me feel old.
Oh, man.
That was a good draft class, though.
That was really amazing. I mean, you look in the top 15 picks, there's 4 Hall of Famers. AI, Ray Allen, Kobe, and Steve Nash. And then outside of that, you have Stephon Marbury, Peja Stojakovic, Antoine Walker and Raheem. I mean, reasonable NBA careers.
Sharif put up monster numbers for multiple years before he got derailed.
Hey, how about this?
Vancouver Grizzlies.
There was a guy for your Cavaliers at 20 who got drafted. Do you know who it is? Cleveland favorite. Good Cleveland. Good Cav. LeBron liked him.
Oh, that was Z. They took 2 bigs in the same year.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah.
No, everyone was baffled by that.
Yeah.
He slipped in the draft because he had foot issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, Z is great. Z has his number retired.
Oh, does he really? I didn't know
the Cavs? Yeah. Yeah, he got a retired number. He led their team in a lot of categories until LeBron passed him.
Yeah, well, and then even then, people give LeBron so much shit for his first tenure in Cleveland. I'm like, the team was so bad. Eric Snow and Zagauskas. But Zagauskas was a real player. But
he was legit good. He had a lot of injury issues, and he definitely had some concerns over the years. He missed part of a season. He had a lot of foot issues, but then Cleveland Clinic got him straightened out, and then he played a good chunk of his career with no issues after having a lot early on.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
He was really good.
I don't remember him being hurt or having any issues once LeBron was on the team. So
it was all early in his career, all super early in his career. Trying to see if there's anything else really good in chat before we end this. Anyone have any last minute shenanigans in chat? Yeah, people were mentioning Melo as the second best player not to have a ring that's of the old guard. I can't think of a better answer off the top of my head.
To not have a ring, it's hard to argue against that. I mean, most guys ended up finding a way to get a ring, right? So, I mean, Karl Malone, but it's a different generation.
Yeah, I'm talking like current guys, obviously.
Yeah,
like players in the league today that are not in their first few years. So this is where I was going to go with this. Speaking of loaded draft classes, I thought about doing some type of video on this. 2018-19 basketball wax. The Luka class is absolutely loaded now. Because you have Luka, you have Trey, you have Ayton, who looks 100% legit. You have SGA. And I'm forgetting like a bunch of people. Like
Lonnie Walker,
that draft class, it is
MPJ
loaded. Yeah, MPJ. I'm not big on Sexton, but Sexton's in there.
I like Sexton. I think if Sexton went to a team and he's like the number 3 guy, that's a really good team.
I hope that wish comes true because I want the Cavs to desperately trade him this offseason.
He's a guy that if him and Kawhi go to Dallas, holy smokes, that's a good team all of a sudden.
Yeah, because here's the problem. I just don't think he's worth a max extension, and he's going to want one.
That's fair. Yeah.
Here, we'll end on this because I asked Sam this earlier, and it was when you ran away off camera for a minute. So I asked Sam if she was targeting anything specifically at Atlanta. So I'll ask you the same question. Is there anything at this Dallas show? And you don't have to give like a specific card, but is there do you have a list in mind, or are you just going in and saying like whatever I find that looks intriguing that I could get a deal on? Or do you have I want to walk out with X? You're not going to the Nationals, so you're not like us where we're all saving money for 2 weeks later.
Well, I'm saving it for Dallas because I assume that's going to be a big show. But, right now, I just feel the market's in a really weird place, and I'm really just playing it by ear. Like, I'm just like, I look at every card, and if it's a good deal, I'll take it, and if not, I won't. Like, there's nothing I'm really chasing, and I'm really playing it card by card. Is this a good deal? Yes or no? And then going. There's nothing I'm really chasing right now. And in large part is, I guess I believe the market's going to continue to dip. So I don't really want to pay today's prices. I guess that's it. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing. That's mainly why I bought the Vlads because I was not looking to buy Vlads, but they seemed drastically undervalued to me. So I pulled the trigger on them. Like, Sam joked earlier that I'm king of the Vlad flip game all of a sudden because I just move in and out of Vlad Guerrero Jr.
You were right though too. I mean, you made some money on that. So,
this is this will be spoiler for a video soon to come. So I've been picking up these lately.
Lou Bob.
I just think I'm not the biggest Lou Bob guy in the world, but I feel like the hate's gone too far.
Oh yeah, his prices have dropped too low. I'm always trying to pick him up on Star Stock, but I haven't looked at eBay really. Or
So I got both these. I think it's someone that watches the channel for 125 a piece. I got both these for 250 out the door.
Man,
They just came in
deals.
today.
Great deals.
But that just seems. I don't think he's going to be like. I don't think this is like a $500 card. I guess if you went absolutely ham next year,
250.
I don't think that's him. But I could easily see this being a $200 or $250 card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone had asked a while ago about not this stream, but I've gotten this question before about like how is someone new supposed to get into the game with the way prices are so expensive? And the first example that I gave was Lubob PSA 9s and Eloy Jimenez PSA 9s. Like they're dirt cheap right now. They're fairly low risk. You're not spending a lot to get into them, and they have a good chance of you're not gonna retire off of them, but you could probably double your money off a Lubob PSA 9 Chrome.
There's a ton of
willing to wait.
deals. There's a ton of great deals out there. Looking at auctions for $5 and $10 cards, looking on Star Stock, looking in person at shows is the best option on these. There's a ton of $3 to $15 cards that you could buy and double up on. There's a lot of them out there. Just do your homework is the best thing I can say, I guess.
I want Vlad to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah, you definitely do.
As long as that blue shows up, for sure.
Heck yeah! Oh yeah, as long as it shows up, yeah.
Oh my god, I cannot wait to get shipping notification. He said it would ship Monday. I'll feel so much better when I see his shipping tracking order on that.
Picked it up. Yes.
It's DHL because it's coming from overseas.
Oh, okay.
Everything ships DHL Express. That's a monster card. I hope it shows up. I want that card desperately. I'd actually probably keep that and maybe sell the Sapphire.
Yeah, the blue is special, and that's a color match card too. The blue is, I mean, that's a phenomenal card.
Yeah, and I got it way under comps too, so I hope it actually leaves and it's all legit.
Absolutely.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this puppy up unless chat has anything last minute super crazy to hit us with, which I don't see anything unless you see something real quick, Dakota, in the chat that strikes you. So this went a lot longer than I thought. We started with Card Collector 2 nonsense, and then you just never know who's going to show up when you go live on any given channel. So go check out Dakota at Sports Cards Anonymous on YouTube. Go check out Sam from Women of the Hobby on YouTube. And I think what I might actually do is download this video and cut out the hour or so that we were live and just make that a separate post because I don't want people to miss the three-way conversation that was an hour into the stream that I was already doing. So, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys and girls. You got anything, Dakota, on the way out the door?
No, thanks so much for having me. It was nice to just show up, just chilling, and always fun to interact with everybody. Thanks so much, the chat, for being here and being interactive. And Neo, thanks so much for having me on.
No problem. We will catch all of you guys and girls later. Peace.